crazy things happened there. A lot of fun. Oh, a lot of fun there. It's just like any hunting trip. Whatever, whatever sporting event you do, the fun is usually with the people you do it with. That's what it's all about. And that's still, everything seems to be that way. I mean, that's what it's all about. If you can get along with people, boy, you have got a good life. She was a grade behind me.
Okay. And how did that get started?
How the relationship did get started. I know every spring we would get carloads of manure from stockyards in Chicago, and they would buy it. And you pitched it all out by hand on the we had trucks, and then you take it out and put it into spreaders and spread it. And you only had a couple days to unload a car. If you didn't get it unloaded on the time the next freight come in, you had to, what they called a demurrage, you had to pay. And so we always made sure we got it. And I remember I'd be down there pitching manure, and I was always right down by the old lumber yard over there on 6th Street, and I'd see Ruth coming in going to school and then she went 1 year to college, and I went down to college quite a bit, and I go down there and see her. I was pretty much I was living at home, but I do whatever I wanted to. But her folks still thought she was going back to Michigan State for her sophomore year. And finally one night, she says, you know, I gotta tell my mother that I'm not going back to school. We're planning to get married. We had the date and everything. We had it all planned. And we were halfway to town going to a movie. And I said, well, might as well get it over with. And I'd never been in a house, in her house, her mother's house. I'd never been in the house. Always when I went to pick her up. And I'll tell you the reason. Back when I was in high school, at the end of high school, when graduation, and it was always seniors, would rent a cottage for a week right after graduation and stay a week out at Stony Lake. Well, that particular, it was her senior year. That particular year, I was out of high school, so I wasn't staying out there, but I was still running with some of the boys that rented a cottage over the other side of the lake, and Ruth, that bunch of girls rented a cottage right next door, the Burmaster's owned that I lived in, and we stopped there earlier, and girls, and then we went back over and played cards over to that. Well, time I got to get home. I mean, I got to work tomorrow. And I was coming back across. The lights were still on over at the cottage where the girls were at, and I'd forgotten to watch. I said, well, I must stopped picking my watch, and there was somebody with me. There was a couple of us, and we went in, and I got my watch. And Evie Grant, she graduated the year before. She was their chaperone, and I'm going out through the living room and giving her a peck good night, you know. And Mrs. Burmaster come in and figured, well, the boys, and she clapping her hands and kicked us out. Well, I didn't know whether to walk by her. I didn't know whether she was going to hit me if I went by or go around like this. And so I went around. Well, needless to say, I was not very popular with Mrs. Burmaster. One night, Ruth, she was going to be down by the ballpark, and I'd be there sometime to pick her up. And I was driving truck then. It was on a Sunday night, and I was going to just see her for a little while. So we drove down the set at the Oval, and we're smooching a little bit. That door pops open, it's Mrs. Burmaster. Oh, Jesus. And pardon Ruth, I mean, get out of there. And they walked home from the beach. And I sat there for a while, and I thought, well, I think maybe she's won. I can't take this much longer. This is a bunch of crap, you know. I don't have to go with her. And I just about made it, and I had a lot of time to think about it. I went to Chicago, and I was coming, and she was still in high school, and it was her senior year. And I'd come down through town, coming from Chicago, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, about the time Ruth got back. And Ruth happened to be in town. She drove all the time, or they rode, they took turns. They drove from Stony Lake. And she see me come, she flags me down, and she climbs up on the running board and talking to me, and I'm just sitting there in Main Street, just a little bit. And I mean, this was after what happened the night before, and anyway, she still wanted to see me, and I said, well, we'll work it out. Find out her mother was standing down in the bank watching her. Oh, yeah. She was something else, Mr. Burmaster. And you know, then when we decided to go back, tell her what our plans were. And that's the first time I'd been in the house. Because always when I went to pick her up, she would come out and see me. We'd have a time set to pick her up, see me drive in. I never went to the door to pick her up. And we went together for quite a while before, and Mrs. Burmaster says, well, we got to start making plans. Just like that. Just like did a complete, I mean, she gave up. Mrs. Burmaster gave up. She was stuck with me. And I'll tell you, she's everything but nice. I mean, it's just nice to me. Couldn't ask for a better mother-in-law. But I sure didn't. I didn't think it was going to be a very nice mother-in-law. So my advice is to any mothers that want their daughters to marry that guy, give them a hard time. Try keeping them going. That way they're sure to get married. It was a big change. Oh, it was a terrific change. I would be stamps, and I would used to go down and see Ruth at college. Well, it was nice. Didn't have to put up with her mother. I mean, we could. But it was just that she lived in a dorm. It was about she had to be in at a certain time. You know, and that's when we made all of our plans. to get married and everything. Was that year she was in college, and she didn't. She was scared of her mother. I mean, I was too, and it's like I say, she didn't. I mean, she didn't tell her. We knew we were getting married if we had to run away. If we were gonna get married. I mean, it was just say we wanted to live together. I've been sorry. I don't think she has either. She's a wonderful woman. I couldn't have found a better one anyplace. She's just an amazing person. I don't think there's anybody that didn't like her. I don't think she had an enemy of any kind. And as fair as possible to be. I mean, she treated all her kids the same.
He has won $10,000.
She didn't. Did she finally?